Hello, 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 everyone. I am so excited to be with you today to bring to you another College Coaching Network Social Spotlight Live. Today on the spot, we have none other than Mr. Sean P. Brown. This man is truly amazing. We've had great conversation. He's a great support for College Coaching Network and just an all-around, just a well-rounded individual that loves connecting people. So Sean has decided to take the 10-10 challenge today. We're going to learn all about his very, very first job. So all the questions I asked you, Sean, I want you to tell everybody about your first job. But before we jump into that, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Mika, for having me on the 10-10 challenge. My name is Sean T. Brown. Overall, I am an entrepreneur, right? I was just like so many of you out there, tried to do the corporate ladder or the corporate way, and it just really wasn't for me. So I had to truly just give up everything and to truly follow my passion, right? And you and I, we spoke a little bit this morning. And when you do what you are supposed to do, right, things truly just fall in place. Not that they're always going to be easy, but things fall in place and you don't mind working hard for yourself.
That is true. That is very, very true. So you said that you started in corporate, you had an entrepreneurial mentality.
Yes.
So the Spotlight Live is really the foundation of this podcast, is to help students see that we all don't start with the pool outside our house in sunny Arizona, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you start in that one bedroom apartment, somewhere in a not so elite area sometimes, right?
Been there, done it, right? Absolutely,
right,
absolutely.
The whole concept started at the bottom. Now we here, right?
Absolutely, that's right.
So let's talk about let's jump into this 10-10 challenge and talk about this first job. Okay. So, Mr. Brown, what was the title or your position at your first job?
I was a facer at Chaz Ball's grocery store in Kansas City, Kansas. So I faced all of the canned goods and the whole grocery store, just making things look good as the customers would walk up and down the aisles.
That is hilarious. Shout out to Kansas, Chaz Ball. I know exactly where that is at. That is funny. And the fact that there was a position title actually called being a facer.
Yes. That's
what's up. So what was your hourly rate of pay?
I got paid $3.45 an hour. I have to tell you this quick story though, real quick, if you have a moment. So I went into the restroom one day and someone had done what they should not have done in the stand-up urinal for the men. Mm-hmm. And so I went to my manager and I said, hey, listen, someone done this in the urinal. Can I clean this up? And he was like, well, absolutely. Well, Sean, I appreciate that. And then he moved me to checker and I got paid $3.65 an hour.
Come on, baller.
So I started moving up, right on up. Absolutely.
That is hilarious.
Yes.
So speaking about getting this pay increase, of course, we know Uncle Sam always want his portion of the pie.
Absolutely.
How did you feel when you saw the deductions from your first check?
Well, I remember my checks would be about $50 to $75 a week. And for me back then, that was enough to pay my gas, for me to go get some tennis shoes or play ball or do whatever. So really at the time, it wasn't too bad because I wasn't relying on my parents and I had a little sense of independence. And so for me, it's things that we don't know at the time, but it taught me to start becoming more responsible and then just start moving up ever since that time. But I look back at it now as we're having this conversation, and for $3.65 an hour, I was there every single day after school from like 3 to 11 when I wasn't playing basketball.
Wow. Okay. So with that being said, what did you do with this large first check?
I just saved it. I learned early on, and this probably came from me being the youngest of 6. right? When you're the youngest of six, you see some of the mistakes that your siblings have made throughout the years. And I learned very early on to just start putting a little bit back just in case of a rainy day. And I was able to pay for my own car to get painted, my 1984 Chevy Citation. I was able to get that painted. And so I was living large, girl.
Okay, okay. And you said this was a Chevy. Who?
Citation. You may have
Like
to Google it. I know.
citation. Look,
Yes, yes.
we gonna have to look before we gonna have to share an image of this car before we get off, because that's one that I ain't heard of, and I am definitely a car person.
Yes,
That is interesting.
yes.
Look, so by the end, we'll have an image of this Chevy Citation, so
Okay.
we can see how you was rolling.
Rolling.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So, what did you like about this job?
You know what? I really like the fact that I would see people from the community, people from my high school. They would come in and just shop. It was on a main street on Parallel there in Kansas City, Kansas, and just have an opportunity just to say what's up to friends and people that I went to school with. I thought that was, I thought that was pretty cool. But at the time, I only knew what I knew, right? And so
Mhm.
it was a job, right? And it was JOB, stands for just over broke. It kept me just over broke. I was not broke because I had a job, but it really wasn't going to take me to the levels that I know I need to be at right now.
Okay, okay, that's good. So, with that being said, what do you feel as though was one of the greatest challenges that you faced while at Chaz Ball?
I would say probably my biggest challenge at the time was when I became a person that checked everyone out. It wasn't the times now where you can just scan the thing and it counted everything. So I really learned and understood the 10 key at the time. So I had to use the one hand and actually enter in every single price. And so when I had a large order, it was something that we had to do very quickly, but we also learned how to give proper change back because people paid with cash and things now that the kids, my children, they wouldn't have a clue what it is that I'm talking about. But once I learned that and understood that, even today, I am still able to use the 10 key even on my computer or, on an old 10 key or something like that. So at the beginning, that was my biggest challenge. But once I got it down pat, I was like, listen, I can do something that a lot of other people aren't capable of doing right now.
That is hilarious that you even mentioned 10 key, because I'm sure
Yes.
most of our audience out there,
Yes.
probably have no clue what 10
No
key is.
clue. Right.
But look, knowing 10 key, there was actually jobs that you can get and
Yes.
that paid very well because
Yes.
you were proficient with 10 key. So I think that,
Absolutely.
look, that's interesting. So hey guys, use Professor Google
That's
and
right.
Google search the benefits of knowing 10 key.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you was balling with making your 50 a week. So with
Yes.
that, did you take your lunch or did you buy your lunch?
You know what? So I remember this so clearly. And let me tell you, I'm a type 2 diabetic today. And so I've made some changes in my lifestyle. But I remember I used to take a lunch. I used to get a peach soda and a chocolate pie. I got that every day when I had lunch, not knowing any better. But today I'm not able to do that exact same thing at almost 50 years of age. But back then, and I got everything 50% off. So that may have cost me 50 to 75 cents to have that peach soda and that chocolate pie that I had for lunch
That's
all the
that's
time.
that's a great perk. All right,
It
Chance Ball.
was,
They
it
were they
was.
they were hooking their employees up because you don't get
Absolutely.
50% off nowhere no more.
Nowhere,
That,
right?
that was a good perk. That's an
Yes,
excellent perk.
yes.
So next question. What was your most embarrassing or funniest moment at Chaz Ball or any other place of employment you could think of?
I would say my, I don't know if it was funny or embarrassing, but one day I had a large checkout, right? I was doing my 10 key, I was moving things through, and then a fight broke out. A fight broke out. It started outside. They came running inside. It was another man. Then another man pulled out a knife, right? And everyone's like, what are we supposed to do? One's throwing toilet paper at the guy and everything. And I just continued with my 10 key. Listen, I had to get through this client, right? Because I had a whole line of people and people over there fighting and carrying on, and I'm just getting this person
You
through.
ignored the
Yep,
situation.
yep, and getting this person through. I didn't see any guns or anything, so I knew we were going to be safe. And the manager came out and and really de-escalated the entire situation.
Mhm.
But my job was at hand, was really just to get that client through, so I can get to the next person in line.
That is hilarious. Like that's like ultimate. That look those memes that be like unbothered,
Absolutely, absolutely. Basically, I was totally unbothered. I had to get
unbothered.
through. Yes.
That is hilarious. So, what song would you use to describe your time at Chaz Ball?
Of course, I'm a New Edition fan. Anybody that know me, I grew up on New Edition, so I would say, "Can you stand the rain?" Right? It's listen, and the reason I say that is because for people that are listening to this outside of the Midwest, in Kansas, in the winter times, listen, it was very difficult to go out there and bring in those carts, right? Because the parking lot is shoveled as good as it can be, but it was
Mhm.
difficult to go out there when a client took the cart out there and left it out and things got low and we had to go out there and recover all of the carts. And that's something that's just very difficult because those cart reels trying to really roll in the sand and soot and snow was very difficult along with this freezing out there. Not like today at Walmart, you see this machine and they have 50
Right.
carts and the machine is taking it inside. I was that machine when the store wasn't busy and I had to go out there and collect those carts.
All right. I could definitely see it. Chaz Ball kind of sits
It
in a
did.
it sits in a slope right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so last question. What do you feel as though is your most valuable life lesson that you learned, whether it was while being an employee at Chaz Ball or that you can now extract that you learned by working for them?
I would say uh, my biggest life lesson was working with the different people, right? Truly the diversity of not only the workforce there at Chaz Balls, but all of the people that came through. It taught me and gave me the ability to communicate with so many different people, right? Not just people of color. And so I utilize that throughout my life right now as being an entrepreneur because I'm working with such a diverse clientele on a daily basis. And I believe it all started from my very first job at Chaz Balls there in KCK.
All right, a shout out to Kansas. Look, of course,
That's right.
when I lived in the area, I lived in Missouri, so you know
Yes.
we had another name for the Kansas side, but
Yes.
I ain't gonna make that known, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
so
it has to be the good looking people there on the Kansas side. So I know it had to be something like that.
that wasn't it, but you know that's funny though. But no, so my husband's family, a lot of them stay off of Parallel, so
Okay.
we were
Yes.
definitely over there by Chaz Ball in the Parallel area. So shout out to Kansas.
Absolutely.
So you have successfully completed the 10-10 challenge.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yes.
Brought back a
So
lot of
now let's
memories.
yes. So now let's get into. I know you said that you started kind of in your career down that corporate route, and then you became an entrepreneur. What do you feel as though was some of the inflection points in your life that led you to understand that entrepreneur was where your true purpose lied?
Just kind of realizing early on that no one's going to see your value like you see your value, right? I will go into these interviews and I'm fighting just to get an interview, only for them to tell me that they'll call me back, or I'm not a good fit for what it is that they're doing. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm just doing this to pay my bills. I'm much better and more capable than what you are thinking or giving me credit for. And so at that time, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna be able to make my own path, right? If I'm in the jungle, there's no road for me to follow or no blueprint for me to follow. I'm gonna create it myself, and that's when I made that decision to start following the direction of being an entrepreneur.
I love it. I love it. And so you talked about you've done multiple entrepreneurial moves. Can you kind of
Yes,
tell everyone what those different things that you've done to get, and then we'll, of course, we'll talk about where you are right now, but what's some of the
absolutely.
different ventures that you took?
Listen, I mean, there's not enough time on this podcast for me to go through everything that I have gone through in my life. But I will say this. I initially started off as being a commodities broker. And listen, at the time, the only other person I knew being a commodities broker was my buddy AJ Jones that really got me into it. He lived in Western Kansas, and Eddie Murphy from Trading Places. That's the only two brothers I've ever seen being a commodities broker in my life. But what that did, it taught me uh, one of the largest business that was in Kansas City as far as being agriculture, teaching me a lot about uh, the hedgers and the speculators, and just really understanding how the world works, right? In trading as far as commodities. And I did that for a number of years, and it taught me so much. And one thing my boss, David Gibson, taught me at the Kansas City Board of Trade, he said, Sean, don't make decisions based off the money that you have in your back pocket, because some of the clients that you are talking to, they have a tremendous amount of money, and it's not about what they look like, it's not about what they drive, right? So don't make those decisions based off what you have in your back pocket, because they are capable of purchasing this gold from you, or these pork bellies from you, or doing whatever needs to be done. And that's something that I keep dear to my heart today when I'm sitting down and speaking with someone. Basically, don't judge a book by its color, by its
I,
cover. And that's
I
something that I learned early on.
I absolutely love that. It's funny that you mentioned about, not, of course, judging people based on what's in your back pocket, but also
Yes.
on the car that they drive. So something total sidebar, interesting that it triggered a thought on that. I've, my husband and I, we always take our kids out into different neighborhoods,
Hmm.
to see,
Yes,
different types of
absolutely.
houses in different
Absolutely.
ways, and so it's crazy that people don't realize some of the most affluent neighborhoods that you go through. Like, for example, if you're in the Kansas City area, go drive through some of the houses in like the Plaza, Brookside
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Their cars, they're not Teslas.
Absolutely.
They're not Lamborghinis parked out
Yes.
there. So
Yes.
those depreciate quick,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes.
knowing and understanding that. So with saying that, Sean, being in business and an entrepreneur, what are the things that you find that actually add value, true value, to build your business? Because a lot of times we look at like social media and everybody's posting all these different things or whatever, right? But the
Yes.
ultimate end goal is to not just be, rich, but to really acquire wealth. So what are
Absolutely.
some of the things that you've learned throughout your course of being an entrepreneur that have guided you to continue to work towards your wealthy place?
Before I get to that answer, I would like to say this, Mika. I have failed and tried so many things. I mean, for years, for years. So I would try something, it would fail, it would not work. And I hate to say it failed because I just learned from it, right? And each time I learned from it, I became better as an entrepreneur throughout my journey. So I want to encourage people out there, listen, if you do something one time or two times or 100 times and it doesn't work, understand all you need is that one yes for it to work, right? And so do not give up on yourself. And to answer your question about talking about the value, one of the things that I think is the most valuable things is to find that mentor. Find that person that you would trade places with, and that's the person you take advice from, right? Don't take advice from people that you are not willing to trade places with, right? We have these family members and these friends that they really aren't doing anything in their lives, but yet they're trying to give us information on what we should do with our life. And also this, don't share your dreams with every single person because they are not there to encourage you and to try to help you implement and reach your goals, right? Reach your goals and your dreams. So make sure you're selective on who you share certain things with, but find that one mentor, that person that will encourage you and give you the correct information that you need to be able to start moving forward. To me, that is priceless because once you find that person, it will help you make those better decisions along the way.
That's good. That's good. Look, dream killers are real.
They
So
are real.
make
Yes,
sure you guard your dreams.
that's right.
So I know that you're into real estate.
Yes,
And I know so I've heard Clyde talk about the three different aspects of acquiring wealth, and real estate is one of those avenues to be able to make passive income, right?
absolutely.
And I know there's a lot of students out there that may be interested in real estate. So can you kind of talk to us about the real estate industry, why it interests you, and kind of how to get into it, or what some tips regarding that industry?
Absolutely. Back in the day, prior to 2008, I owned a number of companies in the Kansas City metro area. And one of those was Kennison and Brown Real Estate. We were the official real estate company of Kansas City Chiefs. At the time, I had 25 full-time real estate agents working for me, and we handle all of the coming and going of the Chiefs players within the play, within coming into Kansas City. I would just help them, whether they're purchasing a home or just putting them in a place to lease a home, an apartment, or whatever. And so the player personnel director of the Kansas City Chiefs, he would tell me the certain areas to place these players in. And it was something that I truly enjoyed doing. It's something that for a lot of people out there that don't want to take the route of spending 4 or 5 years in school, is something that you can learn, take a test, and start doing right away. But the key to real estate is you have to find that mentor once again. You have to find that person that you are willing to trade places with to be able to help you. And a lot of times that is the broker that you're going to work for. And of course, Kansas City has a lot of great brokers, a lot of successful people there in the Kansas City area. But you have to put in your work, right? I say every morning you wake up, you are unemployed. So you have to create your own employment at that time. But on the flip side, you have so much freedom. And the reason I am into it again, because 2008 and 9, I lost everything when the market shifted. And when I tell you I lost everything, you're talking about houses, cars, boat, land, everything. I lost it all, right? So I had everything and I lost everything. And I found myself, starting over. And a lot of this was out of my power. And so I say all the time that bad things happen to good people, right? But I still had the ability to go out and create money, wealth, and where I am today. And so what really drives me is to get back to where I was, right? And 10 exit and go become so much larger than what I ever was before. And I believe that God puts you through certain situations, things in your life, right? So you are able to share your story, but come back even better than what you ever were before.
That's good. That's good. So I'm glad that you touched on it, and you touched on it a bit before, because again, in a instant society, we see everybody on social media and we think, oh, you know, this luxury life just happens, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one thing to not have something and just, man, I wish I had that. But you went through a situation where you reached, that pinnacle. I'm sure a lot of real estate agents and brokers out there is like, man, I would love to work with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you had that, and then market shift again out of your control, and it was
Absolutely.
taken away.
Yes.
What was the inner workings of your mind that allowed you to bounce back from that just like hard place in your life?
Yeah. I would say the first thing is that we are human. Listen, I was upset. I was upset at myself. I was upset at God. I was like, listen, these people out here doing this stuff wrong. And God, I'm doing it right. Right. I'm going to church. I'm tithing. I'm doing all of this stuff. At the time, I was helping support a family over in Africa. And the whole goal was when he became 18, I was going to bring him to the States and have him work for us. So we had all these grand plans, but I realized this. Once I got beyond my pity party, right? And I'll tell my wife, sometimes you have to give me a day or two just to get it all out of my system.
Mhm.
And then recalibrate and say, you know what, Sean, listen, you have the ability to go out and create this again. But the most important thing that I had to look around and realize that I had was my family, right? I had my wife, I had my kids. They were my support system. Uh, we were there as a family, and that was so important to me. And then once I knew that we were okay, then I could start one brick at a time, start all over and start building this wall again. And listen, it's 2022 and this happened in 2008 and 9. And so I've been climbing up the hill ever since, and I'm not done yet.
All right. That's good stuff. So last thought, last question. What would you tell young Shine? That Shine that was at Chaz Ball, that was, out off of
Yes.
Parallel. What would Shine T. Brown tell young Shine?
I would tell him to continue to smile, continue to translate your basketball work ethic to your life as you have. Uh, Continue to believe in people, even though there's going to be so many people and so many people close to you that are going to let you down, that are going to go against you. They're not there for you. But at the end of the day, when you finish this race, as long as you do everything that was within your power and you treated people with respect and dignity, right? You're going to finish this race the way it's supposed to be. And
Mm.
keep God first in every single thing that you do, and you'll be okay.
That is good stuff. So thank you so much, Sean, for taking the 10-10 challenge and being a guest on Social Spotlight Live. Again, students, Sean is a great friend of College Coaching Network. I'm sure we'll have him out to be able to talk shop and real estate and be one of the
Absolutely.
virtual mentors to help you guys if that is the field of interest. So thank you so much again,
Thank
Sean,
you.
for taking
Thank
the
you.
challenge, for being on the podcast. And students, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy
I
your day.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.